Hey everyone, today I want to discuss what I believe is one of the most underrated upgrades you can make for an electric bass or an electric guitar. I'm going to show this example of this bass I bought for $90 at NAMM that had this bridge on it to this Fender NiMass Bridge and how that upgrade sounds. So I have comparisons to share and we're going to take a look at what those sonic differences are. Let's get into it. So what I did here is I took my bass, I recorded with the same settings in my Great River preamp direct in, kept everything the same and only changed the bass. I had both volumes dimed and the tone knob at exactly the same place. And I had the tone knob open because I wanted to hear all the high end that came from the different bridges. Okay, so everything is exactly the same on these settings, same cable, everything else I tried to play as close as I could. Obviously it's not exact scientific, the same take or anything like that, but you'll get the idea from listening to this. So one of the first things I hear is just in the amount of clickiness in the high end, and that's kind of that noise that happens sort of 2K and above on a bass so often, like the strings hitting the frets. It can kind of be amplified, especially with cheaper pickups. So let's take a look at just the high end of the bass, and to do that I'm going to pull up an EQ, and so we're just going to hear what that high end sounds like, and we're going to go back and forth between the two. So one of the things that I hope this highlights and I'm hearing here is that the high-end attack of that string noise is amplified with the vintage style bridge. That could be a combination of a lot of things, the design of the bridge, the mixture of the metals, all those things, but I'm noticing that there's less sustain and more of that high-end attack from the strings on there. One of the biggest changes that upgrading your bridge can make is with the amount of sustain that your bass gets. Harder metals and more pure metals often can have stiffness and different properties that cause the strings to resonate more, so you can often get more sustain. Higher mass can also change the way the strings vibrate and the amount of sustain you get in the bass. So sometimes when you have bridges that are cheaper and made of cheap alloys, notes might not sustain as long. That could be a good thing for you. We'll listen to the samples and you can make your own judgment, but if you want longer sustaining notes, then definitely a denser bridge, denser metals are going to help you get that result. Another upgrade might be in tuning stability. If a bridge is cheap, the screws, the other parts might just not be as nice, might not fit as well. You might have a little bit of tuning instability. Nicer bridges that are more closely machined, lower tolerances often provide better tuning stability. I have always found that replacing the bridge is an incredible upgrade because it also helps the feel of the instrument. So it is changing the tone and fundamentally, and so that goes through the pickups and everything, and it really changes the fundamental tone, getting more sustain. I found that with electric guitars as well. So it's a really nice upgrade to make and often cheaper than replacing the pickups. That's another fabulous upgrade, but this might be something that's underrated and can change your tone because changing the pickups will only change what's being received by the strings. It will not change the vibration of the instrument itself. So something to consider when you want to make an upgrade. And the last reason I'll give is it might be an aesthetic improvement for you. It might be a comfort improvement. For me, what initially gave me the impetus to switch the bridge was that the strings, the screws here were biting into my hands and it didn't like the way it felt. So I wanted to try a different bridge, in part because I wanted more comfort, but also I wanted to change the sonic characteristics as well. So it was a win-win for me to change the bridge. In terms of aesthetics, that is of course a completely subjective to you decision on what you think is stylish and what aesthetics you are drawn to. But I will say that definitely the comfort aspect, if you are somebody that leans your hands against a bridge or palm mutes at all when playing bass or electric guitar for that matter, it is important how that feels to you. You can see the particular bridge I got here, the Fender NiMass, is very blocky. It's very comfortable to play. There are no sharp screws or anything. So that was part of the appeal to me, as well as the tone. I wanted a higher mass bridge. I wanted a little bit more sustain. So I have the ones with brass saddles because I generally like the tone of brass on bridges. So I hope you can hear that replacing a bridge on an electric bass is quite a powerful upgrade. It's also often quite a bit cheaper than replacing pickups. New jazz bass pickups are usually $200 and above. I bought that replacement bridge for about $45. The one I purchased was the Fender NiMass Bridge with brass saddles, but there are lots of other options. A few notable people making really great bridges, I think. I think the Fender ones are great. Leo Kwan makes a great bass bridges. There is another company called Callahan that is making great bridges for guitars. I use their bridges as a go-to on all my guitars. There's another company called Mastery Bridge that is making fabulous bridges, especially for Jazzmaster and Bigsby type devices. So I'll link those companies below. If you have any questions, please let me know. If I can answer them, I will. And I hope to see you next time. Take care. You can feel it in your hands, you know? So thanks for watching. I hope this is helpful to you and highlights a way that you might have an underrated mentioned below. If you have questions, please let me know. If I can answer them, I will. If not, I won't lie to you. Okay. All right. Take care.